Now, Stephen Gillen was one of Britain's most notorious gangsters, but turned his life around upon his release from prison back in 2003.
He's now a best-selling author who's discussed everything from his life and an entrepreneur, and he's recently been working behind the scenes on the programme Gangs of London. It's such a good show. The violence is it's
violent.
crazy. I think we've got a sneak peek of series 2 that we can show at this hour of the day. No, we're fine.
We'll hit them harder than they've ever been hit.
Oh, you stupid. If you want them gone, you have to take what they control. Street by street, gang by gang, tower by tower. You have to destroy them from the ground up. You need a returning king.
He does so little in that, and it is so powerful. Stephen Gillen joins us live from London now. Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Hi, I'm Aaron. Hi, Tommy.
It's lovely to have you here. When you got the call from the producers of Gangs of London, because they brought you in as a consultant, what are you doing on the show?
I was the face of the marketing. I mean, there's a lot of people were the inspiration for this, Maren. Obviously, it's a realistic series. It really is. It's a very brave series as well. You know that shows people a lot more about the upper echelons of organised crime, especially in the City of London.
It's extremely violent. I mean, I nearly had to turn it off at one stage because it was so bad. But what sort of stories? Are there stories? Because as a consultant, you know, it's kind of based on bits of your life. So are there many stories that you have actually experienced that have actually been put into the show?
I can say a lot of characters on there. It's very well drawn, the script, you know, and the character development, immensely so. And you know, of course, the fact and fiction, you know, is the thing to use, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of characters on there that resemble certainly a lot of people I used to know.
And Stephen, is the violence, is it heightened for entertainment purposes, or is it real?
Let's be honest, Maren. Organised crime and its aftermath and what it does. It's a terrible business. It's very violent. You know, it really is less and more than what we see on Gangs of London. The entertainment is there, of course, to drive the narrative, and it's an extremely violent depiction. But you know, let's be honest, violence is violence. There's certainly a lot of terrible violence in organised crime.
I mean, people probably tuning in now and looking at you, Stephen, wouldn't be thinking that you were involved in a high level of violence and crime at different levels. But you grew up in Belfast, kind of at the height of the Troubles as well. Was it a difficult time to grow up in Belfast, or is it something that you look back on with fond memories?
I look back with fond memories because it's my history. It's me. I always have that place in my heart back home. All my family was Irish. Of course, it's part of me. I stayed there till I was 9. Of course, I was right in the middle of it all. When I come to East London, for instance, it was a fast place, but it was nothing like Belfast. It was calm by comparison.
And when did your life of crime begin? As you mentioned, you moved to London when you were 9 years old. Like, are we talking in your teenage years, or what happened, Stephen?
When I look back, Maren, I would say that it started when I come to London, really. You know, I was the child on the boat, with nothing that was sent to a place he didn't know where he was going. So, you know, I had to circumvent a lot of stuff. I had to survive, and, you know, that forged me. I had a lot of further traumas that made me really open to be groomed and susceptible to the life I stepped into.
Do you think that that's a problem? I mean, because you were known as very much a hard man who, you know, had to be the person who laid down the law, I suppose. I mean, do you look back on that? Do you look back on that? Are you scared to even think of that? Have you kind of tried to delete those memories from your brain now?
transformation is an ongoing process, Tommy. You know, it really is. I've had to do so much work, and I'm the real thing. You know, a complete 360 metamorphosis, and I'm very privileged, you know, to have the chances I do now. But as human beings, we carry stuff. You know, we are accountable for our actions, you know, and our choices, and you know, we carry stuff, and so it's an ongoing process.
Because that's the thing, of course, you have hurt people in life, and there are victims now who are in the world and obviously think of you a certain way. But you did, you got a 17-year sentence in 1991. You went to prison. You served with people like Charles Bronson. You know, it was hard time, and you've come through that. What was prison like? Like, did it do what it was meant to do and go, okay, I can't be involved in this life anymore. I need to turn it around?
Miriam, it was desperate. It really was. You know, I was a Category A inmate. I was released a Category A inmate. There's, you know, immense violence in there. I see a couple of people murdered in there. Everything is security. You know, it was, you know, the deepest, darkest hole of the place, really. I never thought I would get out of there, you know. So if you think about hell on earth, really, every day for 11 years and 9 months, it really was a desperate place.
So how did you turn it around, Stephen? What was the catalyst to think, you know what, this has been my life up until this stage. I'm doing hard time, but you know what, I'm going to turn my back on it. And is it even easy to turn your back on it, given that I'm sure there was a number on your back almost as well?
When you're in that life, it's extremely difficult to get out of it. But one of the things with me, Tommy, is in that life, I always played by the rules. I never got anything that's apparent to see. So, you know, I'd seen through the life for a long time, you know, and I'd wanted out. You know, when you have friends who you've known for 25 years who are going to set you up to get you killed, then of course, you know, you're going to look at the life that you're living, because there comes a point, even if they're trying to protect you, that it goes beyond them in this life. So, you know, I wanted out of that life for a long time, and I took the opportunity, thankfully, you know, to get out of it. I couldn't hurt people anymore, and I'd seen through that life.
And that is the point of prison. It is rehabilitation. It's meant to be serve your time and try to get a new life. You have thankfully done that. Loads of people haven't. Do you think that, you know, modern day justice and prison sentences are doing what they're meant to do, or do we need more supports? Do we need to get there at an earlier age to stop people getting into a life? Are we doing enough to stop that life for young people?
We're currently developing the Stephen Gillen Foundation, you know, which looks at the roots, you know, of a lot of this stuff. It's certainly about instruction. It's certainly about opportunity. Certainly about the right role models. Certainly about the family foundational stuff, you know, to get the messaging in, you know, the right messaging. You really do have to focus on the good stuff to let the good stuff in, Miriam. You know that. One of the things is environment and so forth can translate, you know, the family unit can translate destructively to people. That's not a good start, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And just 2 years ago, you released your autobiography, an absolute bestseller, The Monkey Puzzle Tree. I gather it's now being turned into a movie. How involved in that are you, and how excited are you to hopefully bring that to the big screen?
It's immense work. It has been over these years, you know, an unbelievable learning, you know, and, you know, it comes to the stage that they're talking about you in the third person like a plant or something. It's a really strange experience. But I've been in the middle of that. I'm a CEO of a media company. We make TV and film. I know the industry, which has really helped to navigate getting it to the silver screen in the right way. So I've been very lucky there too.
Well, every time I see Colm Meaney on the screen in Gangs of London, I'll be thinking of you. I think he's got a few of your characteristics on that. Stephen Gillen, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, it's Gangs of London Series 2, available on Sky Atlantic as well.
It's too...
I love it. It's
sound
really
effects.
good storyline, though. The storyline, I love all that. Yeah,
I know,
brilliant.
but when they're crushing bone, they're crushing bone.
OK, still to come, lots more Ireland. Hopefully going to be in the kitchen for a bit of food, feel the old tummy rumbling. That's coming up next.
Oh, sweet.